what are the key issues, the points raised, and what's really important. I'm an engineer, and I always try to think that, okay, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to solve the problem? So when we are talking about the cybersecurity, there is a three aspect of cybersecurity. There is a technical aspect, there is a legal aspect, and the application. As Dr. Berta just said, oftentimes we say this, I heard from the audience, the law is problem, there is a lot of issue. I heard from the audience that no, law is not the problem, it's the application of the law could be challenging. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to make a judgment that whether law is perfect or law is not perfect. But what I will say is that first I want to focus on the technology aspect of the cybersecurity. If we look at the sitting in my chair and looking into the actual situation of our country's cybersecurity, I would just say that we have a long way to go to protect public and private interest and information from a cybersecurity point of view. In today's world, our information are not just with us, it's with multiple platforms. For email, we are using one platform. Probably for ordering food, we are using another platform. For multiple purpose, for banking, we are using other platform. So when we think of a cybersecurity, the security threat can come from multiple dimensions, not from one dimension. So it's really important to understand that what government can do and what is the role of the government, what is the role of the private sector, and a cybersecurity agency, or as per the new law, the new cybersecurity agency, what is their role? Why the role interact with PTRC and other agency, and how we can safeguard the people of this country. So it's really important that last 1 hour that we talked different aspect of human rights and the violation of the law and all this thing, but I'm taking completely different tangent. I'm focusing on cybersecurity first. Looking into cybersecurity, with all due respect and where we stand, I would be the first time to say we have a long way to go. We just started this journey. We are assessing our entire country, government sector and private sector. Where is the vulnerability? I'm so thankful that the gentleman said about the vulnerability assessment. In any modern country, you do a rigorous vulnerability assessment, and not just in the government sector. You need to look into the private sector. There are more personal data lies in the private sector than in the government sector. So if you just protect the government sector and you say, no, I have no responsibility for private sector, then you will not protect your citizen. So the agency just started the work. We need to equip the agency with the right people, right tool, and I would just say that we're not running it. We just start crawling to walking, but we are really trying to move fast here. One other thing, what's important is that there are multiple laws passed, multiple initiative has happened during the interim government, and there's an interrelation here. The cybersecurity law is one, PDPO, which is personal data protection, is one, NDGO, National Data Government Policy, is one, and then telecom and IP policy. Yes, each are individual laws, but there is an interrelation and there is a correlation and interdependency. So you can't just take and look into one, you have to understand the interdependency and how it will help each other and how it correlate each other. One of the things I would highlight that what this administration, this government has formed, and after the formation of the government, we have around 30 days to review the ordinance what interim government has passed and go through and decide that whether we go to parliament to pass those or not to pass those. Dr. Berta says that it's really not right to have the criminal, don't prosecute through the criminal part or criminal law for a lot of these offenses. And one of the first things we identified when we formed the government in the PDPO, Personal Data Protection and NDGO, the law has the provision for the criminal prosecution, which is not the practice in the internationally. We looked to GDRP, we looked into US, we looked into Europe, we looked into Japan, and within that short term, yes, there is a provision of prosecution, yes, there is a provision of civil liability, civil cases, but we have changed from the criminal to the civil. I won't say that what we have passed is perfect, no law is perfect, is the application what matters, and is the continuous evolution what would be important as we move forward. Aside from the cybersecurity threat, when it comes to, there was a lot of discussion about the platform. So I would just say one thing, that I returned back to Bangladesh after almost 22 years, this late November. And when I did the online traffic analysis before the election and after the election, I'm sure that you all know that more than 60 to 70% of total online social traffic is bot traffic, not actual traffic. I repeat again that the people who does the traffic assessment and the source assessment, more than 60 to 70% of the traffic, the comments, the reactions are bot traffic. So it's very important for us to understand the organic versus inorganic traffic. If we do not, and I do not know that what other country in the world has such a high inorganic traffic for whatever the reason. So it's really important that like us, the regulator, the civil society, we need to work with the platform, and it is really hard for platform to also distinguish between organic versus inorganic. When I have this discussion with one of the major platform players, they have said that sometimes in 2023 or 2024, they have taken action and they have deactivated a huge number of traffic which was coming from a bot traffic. So when we are talking about online traffic, harassment, cyberbullying, all these things, it's really critical for us to understand what is the core issue, where it's hurting the most, which are the people, which are the accounts causing all these problems, and then go after the key problem rather than overall issues here. The last thing I would say that it is critical that we think of personal data protection very seriously, and if we cannot protect the personal data, then there is a cybersecurity impact, and then there is a financial impact and also legal impact. What we are trying to do right now is that if we look into the data, and I'll go back to the gentleman, your comment on the vulnerability assessment. We already started doing that, and what we are finding is that multiple organizations in Bangladesh, on both sides, public and private, does not have the basic protection layer to protect the individual data. Just to make a light comment before my end, that there are very critical private companies and government companies have their username as admin and password as password 123. If I tell that which organization, probably will have a heart attack, but that is true, that both on public sector and private sector, very critical places, the system admin has a username as admin and password as password 123. This is in today's world, that's just a crime. You cannot sit in a system administrator job in a critical governmental infrastructure or a private financial company and have such negligence. So this is why I said at the beginning that I have been told that I have to be very careful, don't speak like an engineer, you have to be thoughtful, the comment you made. But I would say that we have a long way, we have a long journey. We have to educate our people, we have to build our platform, we have to have the right tools, and we have to apply the law correctly. We just started the process. It will be journey. I'm sure it will be. We'll make mistakes. We'll have challenges, but we are committed to take this journey along with the entire civil society, the journalists, the rights group, and to protect our citizen and protect our country. Thank you. I want to make sure that we stay on the time, but I'll give you just literally one-line response that on the freedom of expression, I wholeheartedly agree what you said, and that's also the position for this government. But one thing I would say that the fact checking is really key, and this is not just a government responsibility. 78% people in Bangladesh believes what they see in the social media. The only country after Brazil who believes on the news point of view. I'm sure you have seen that there are a lot of fake photo card which looks like a newspaper, like they just change one letter or one word, they keep the color template, and it circulates everywhere. I've seen it, I'm sure all of you have seen it. So yes, it's a responsibility of government, but it's also responsibility of the civil society, the news media and others, because if 78% of the people, and it's even more alarming, 87%, the people who lives in rural area sees what they believe, like they believes what they see in the social media. So yes, freedom of expression is critical, but fact checking is really important for our country to make sure people doesn't get diverted to the wrong direction. One thing, Mr. Bhai, I'll say that I really appreciate all the hard work you guys put on the cybersecurity. I can say huge thanks for that, and to the interim government. From our government, we did not change a single word of the act you guys have worked. We reviewed it multiple times. We went through, we read, reread. That is one provision where we have not touched a single word. We passed it as it has been. And the last thing, what you said about just to, like this is our second time, the BTRC chairman and I in the public forum we were speaking, and he gave the data on 27,000, the request of this thing. Probably 3 months we are working each other. Like in public, I want to disclose that at least from our side, there was not one request from the government, from me to him for one post removal. So this is just, I want to lay it out in public that yes, we'll follow the process, yes, we'll protect, but in full disclosure, we say that it would be good to know in public that 3 months we have been working, God knows how many hours we have spent in different meetings, different things, but we want to make sure that there is a due process and procedure, and the people and the process to take place. It's not the political decision or political enforcement. He and I didn't have even one discussion about one single post removal. Thank you.